What's up, my friends? Welcome to a brand new video. This one, we got a bit of a hot topic that we've talked about before, where we have these military installations and everything that were named after Confederate generals, and they're changing the names of them. We talked about this about a year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, when it was first announced and everything. And I know a lot of people don't like the changes. Some people don't really care. I'm sure there's people on either side, but nonetheless, there's nothing you can do about it. The names are changing, and we have the names of these new locations and what they are. So we're going to dive into that. There are some changes for like some Navy ships as well. I think there's a Marine base or something like that as well. So there's quite a few changes that are kind of happening. But we're gonna be focusing on the Army installations here because, of course, I create Army content, right? So we're gonna be talking about the Army installations and what their new names are going to be. And it won't take effect immediately. It's gonna take a little bit of time to kind of do all the name changing of the signs and everything. They have like a $65 million budget to do whatever they got to do to change these signs, change everything to reflect the new names. And it'll happen between now and the 1st of January, 2024. So maybe in 2023 is when you'll start seeing a lot of these installations, maybe changing over the names and everything. But what are the names? So let's dive into that. So we have Fort Rucker, Alabama. It will no longer be known as Fort Rucker. It'll become Fort Novosel, I believe is how it's pronounced. And that's in honor of Chief Warrant Officer 4 Michael J. Novosel. You got Fort Benning, formerly home of the infantry. Now it's home of the maneuver center because they now have OSIT for your scouts and your tankers there. Well, it won't be called Fort Benning anymore. That's where I went to basic training. So I'll have to start telling people I went to basic training, I guess, at Fort Moore, but that's the new name, Fort Moore, in honor of Lieutenant General Hal Moore and his wife, Julia. You got Fort Gordon. Fort Gordon will be renamed Fort Eisenhower, of course, in honor of President and former Army General Dwight Eisenhower. Fort Polk. Everybody likes to talk crap and, talk about how horrible it is at Fort Polk. Well, you won't be able to call it Fort Polk. You'll have to talk crap about Fort Johnson in honor of Sergeant William Henry Johnson. You have Fort Bragg, which is home of the Airborne and Special Operations Forces. Fort Bragg, North Carolina will become Fort Liberty. That's in honor of America's value of liberty, which there's other places that have that same name. In Iraq, we had a Camp Liberty, and in Korea, there's a Camp Liberty, but fairly common kind of usage that's being used there. Fort Hood, right? Everybody calls it the Hood, and I'm sure people will continue to call it the Hood even after the name change, but Fort Hood will become Fort Cavazos in honor of General Richard E. Cavazos. And then lastly, you got Fort Lee in Virginia. That one will become Fort Gregg Adams in honor of Lieutenant General Arthur J. Gregg and Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams. So these are the new names. This is what everything is changing to over this time, whether you like it or not. I know there's definitely people that probably don't really care, people that do heavily care, right? To me, it just kind of feels, I don't know, strange. Like to think that maybe in some point in the future, if I tell people I went to Army basic training at Fort Benning, they won't know what the hell I'm talking about. They'll be like, what the hell is Fort Benning? I'm like, oh, that's right. It's now Fort Moore, right? So that's kind of weird, a little bit kind of strange. People have probably history with these locations because of basic training, because of maybe they were stationed there or whatever the case was. And now these names are changing, right? Maybe you didn't care who it was named after. It's just the fact of the matter, right? So it's kind of a touchy subject I'm sure for some people don't care. I guess it really doesn't matter. It's not that big of a, I don't know. It's hard to kind of put an evaluation on it, but nonetheless, like I said, nothing we can do about it. They're changing. So of these new names, probably what's your favorite, right? I kind of like the Fort Eisenhower idea. That sounds cool. I'm actually surprised of a few names that weren't included in there. Like I would have liked to have seen maybe at Fort Bradley after Omar Bradley, the Bradley fighting vehicles named after that individual. Fort Bradley would have been kind of cool. Maybe even like the first president, right? Fort Washington. I know they have like a monument called Fort Washington and everything already, but not really an Army installation named Fort Washington. So maybe that would have been kind of cool. But of the ones currently here, Fort Eisenhower, kind of cool, kind of a cool thing. But I want to hear your favorite of those listed down below. Maybe some that you would have liked to have seen that maybe didn't make it into the changes that you would like to have seen Fort this or Fort that or whatever. So let me know down in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Check out the links down in the description box down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick little video. Thanks for watching. I'm Christopher Cass. See you next time. See ya.